A demolition job done by the Cats. Geelong home, matey, in a big win. Sorry, it was a bit late, guys. Let me guess it here. 85 points. The Cats got home by up at the Gabbo. Big win over the Lions. A very comprehensive performance by the Cats. I actually didn't see any of it, Shorty, so that's a little bit disappointing on my front, but had a little bit of a birthday dinner celebration, so that was that, and I didn't get to see a second of the game, but thanks to Darijoe with the highlights, which I'll chuck in the description. I managed to see a little bit of it at the least, so pretty happy with that, mate. 85 points, big win over a side we probably should beat reasonably comfortably, even though they've had some reasonable performances of late. How did you see it with the old man?
Yeah, definitely, mate. As I say a lot to you throughout the week, and any win is a good win these days. I mean, obviously, we know the Lions are capable, and they didn't produce anything near that on Saturday, but that's just how it goes. I mean, I think if you could take advantage of that, and part of that would have been too because of our good display early, but look, Brisbane have had some reasonable results, and they are pretty dangerous at the Gabba, and I felt, given we have been, I guess, a little bit
shaky
slow on the uptake at times to playing low opposition, it was somewhat of a danger game. It sounds silly now, but I definitely think it was. Definitely to get that win, pretty pleased. Second quarter in particular. The second half was nothing to write home about or get excited over, really. We pretty much held them at bay in the third quarter, and the last, we got a few cheapies in the end, but that was the shocking display of AFL, really. It was not great by either team, but you walk away with that second quarter was really damaging, and I was pretty pleased with it. I think the main takeaway point is that we were able to start well, which sometimes against poor opposition after 10-15 minutes we're not quite on, and it takes us 3 quarters to get going and pick it back, and then we come home late and either just fall short or get over the top. But I think we did well to not only start well ourselves, but the byproduct of that is that Brisbane pretty much had no real options and played poorly as a result of our good start rather than allowing a young side to get ahead of steam up. So, yeah, pleasing, mate. I think it was a good contribution from everyone. I mean, I was thinking about, the chopping block and things, and no one really comes to mind that was poor. So, that'll be good, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But, yeah, certainly good win. You take it. Percentage booster may not matter given we have the draw, but nonetheless, that'll be all right. It's good to have a big win away from home.
Love it, mate. Good stuff. Look, I'll probably talk a few bits and pieces about the game, and more so, I guess, what it means for us. But, yeah, looking at some of the stats here, mate, nearly 100 more touches, 9 more clearances, so right at the goal face where it's so important. We were first to the footy there, inside 50s, gee whiz, 67, so that's 18 more than them, plus 42 in contested possession, so that's a key stat right there. Clearances and contested possessions are huge in most games. They're quite dangerous. And, I guess looking at the highlights from Darijoe, I only got to really sort of see the highlights on the AFL website and sort of Darijoe's goals. But from looking at least the good stuff, it looked like we had real fluency in our movement and real cohesion between the mid and forward set up there. It looked really balanced down back. Our pressure was really, really good as well. Looking at Brisbane, and at least obviously the highlights, you don't get as much of a feel of it, but looking at the highlights, we had so much time and space, and Brisbane didn't really come out to hunt us. And I think some sides probably put more of an emphasis into hunting us, and then we can sort of be a deer in a headlight situation where we get a little bit overwhelmed and the pressure gets to us, and then our whole game plan just simply goes out the window, which happens to a lot of sides, and us in particular. We're no exception to the rule. But look, again, we converted really well. 10 goals in the second quarter is a massive sort of display there. Basically minimum 5 goals each quarter, so you can't really complain there, I suppose. As you say often, a win anywhere, anytime is is great. So, look, yeah, really pleased with the numbers and looked like a pretty balanced display. I mean, Dangerfield had a pretty good game, so played well, but it's not like they had to play absolutely scintillating footy for us to get across the line. I think we're quite capable even without them, and some of the second tier stood up, and Parsons was really good, and we'll probably talk about that in the player review section there. But yeah, just an even contribution from our side, which I like to see, and overall very, very pleased, and hopefully some good things to come. I think that rest throughout the week in Queensland was quite a good result in the end, which proved, I guess, on the scoreboard at the end of the game. And yeah, pretty happy with that, mate. I don't have the deep analysis as I usually would. Haven't actually seen the game, but yeah, looked really fluent. Good with the footy. Just used it really well and made a count when it was inside 50 for us, and looked pretty dangerous overall and did a great job.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. It was a good result, that's for sure.
Good stuff. So that's a little bit of the review section. We'll move into the votes, mate. Well, I reckon we do our votes independently, as I mentioned somewhat regularly, guys, but I reckon we've got the same three. I hope we do. Go for it, mate. There'll be two. We have the same, I'm sure, but give us yours.
Yeah, well, I felt the top two, in my opinion, was fairly clear. I mean, Dangerfield was outstanding and just continues to play unbelievable footy. I don't think he's in the Ablett realms at the moment. Week on week, the standard is unbelievable. So I gave him 3. Gave 2 votes to Duncan. I thought he was really good. He's just starting to play some great footy. He certainly moved into that A-grade category, which we've probably held him in for a while, but certainly putting that body of work together nicely. And I gave the 1 vote to Mark Blitzard, actually, so maybe a slight surprise, but I'll see what he had. But look, I felt that he was really impressive early. I think he kicked the 3 just half, had maybe 17 or 18 at half time, I think it was. So statistically, he dropped off in the second half, but I felt when the game was there to be won, he was really good. And the bloke that I've occasionally been fairly harsh on, it was,
yeah, he's lifted, thankfully.
Some good footy. So, yeah. How about yourself, mate? Did you see it somewhat similarly?
I went Dangerfield with a 3, 38 touches, 9 marks, 3 tackles, 3 goals. He got a couple of nice ones late, which really just got his Supercoach points up here, matey, and he was just fantastic as always. Just, again, I can't really comment on exactly what he did, but statistically alone and just the way he went about it. And the amount of goals he set up to, there were so many handballs and goal assists from Dangerfield as well. He probably could have kicked 6 or 7 if he wanted to, but just a gentleman, isn't he? Love the way he goes about it. Speaking of loving the way they go about it, Mitch Duncan, 38 touches as well, 9 marks. 2 blokes with 38 touches and 9 marks. Wonder if that's ever happened. And he also chimed in with the 2 goals. One of those was a handball from Dangerfield. Thanks for the Darijoe highlights again. And look, again, he's just a smooth mover. Uses the footy really well, really balanced, good decision maker, and he's just brilliant. He'd be right up there in our best and fairest. Probably you'd have to have him 3rd, simply behind Dangerfield and Selwood. So my 1 vote will go to Lachie Henderson, 27 touches, 11 marks, a couple of free kicks there as well, mate. And look at that, just unbelievable stats for, you'd probably say, a key defender, and he had so many forward thrusts and score involvements. I mean, again, I only saw the highlights, so I only got to see the positive stuff from Lachie Henderson, but gee whiz, that's some pretty impressive numbers, and to be involved with a lot of scoring chains as well, particularly early and especially throughout the game, I thought it was quite invaluable. You wouldn't think he would be a link man, but he was doing a great job, and he's my 1 vote, mate. Maybe a surprise, I don't know.
Oh, no, he was really good. And
very close. Yeah.
I just thought that Charles was fantastic early, and Henderson was really good as well, that's for sure.
Yeah, you probably could have chucked in a few others there. So those are our votes for the game, and we'll move into the player review, mate. So I can probably only comment on a statistical basis, but maybe I'll just go off the top with a couple of questions and let you sort of go into it. Guthrie, statistically not great, may have done a few nice things. How did you see Buzzer? He got his hands to a few and couldn't quite clunk them. what do you reckon with his? And Guthrie's got 11 touches there. Anything happened to him?
No, I think he was just not a great game from Cam. I think he's playing forward now, which he played reasonably well in that role against the Giants.
Yep.
And perhaps just a man who's slightly out of position and maybe not playing a natural role. So, he wasn't great. And I don't think forward's his best role, but maybe with Menzel out of the team, they've decided to put him there. But so he's a man who's a bit out of form. Buzzer, look, he does enough to make you want to persist with him. I mean, he didn't do anything unbelievable, but he just shows the odd passage of play where he shows some speed or a really clever kick or just a handful of things that makes you feel like he could put it together in a final or a big game because he can leap, he can take a mark, and he's a good kick.
Yeah, got the attributes.
I'd rather take a risk on an untried player who, say, he's playing 4 out of 10 footy at the moment. I feel he's capable of 7 or 8 footy, where we could just play safe and pick Reece Stanley, who's going to give you 5, 6 out of 10 football most weeks.
Yeah.
So I'd rather take a bit of a punt, but look, I think probably on that, Reece Stanley's a man that I would say probably needs to go, or at least pick one of Smith and Stanley. Blitzard's part of the reason he was so good is because he plays great footy when he rucks and then is at his own feet and plays that role really well. So I just don't think there's any need to have Stanley and Smith when you've got Blitzard who can ruck, and Buzzer does a lot of rucking at the VFL level as well. So I was very disappointed in a lot of things Stanley does, and he misses set shots, he takes marks he should, and he's a bit like Jesse White, old school mate from Sydney and Collingwood. He's got all the physical attributes.
Yeah.
He's just a bit of a tease. So, a couple of players that are looking for a bit of form. There's going to be a few guys you'd imagine would return from injury because we've got a few that have copped some whacks with obviously Menzel and Scotty Starwood and those types are the first ones that come to mind, but I wouldn't imagine they'd be making enormous changes. Obviously Simpson and Black were left out of the side. Parfitt came in, was good to see him back, but probably depending on the medical report, we might see a few come in, but otherwise you're not going to be looking at too many and dropping them. Maybe Stanley would probably be the only one I'd consider, and that's more structural, I'd say. Yeah.
That's fair, mate. He's a bit like a man with no position at the moment. He rucks, but not very well. When he plays forward, he's sometimes imposing, but he just doesn't take those big moments and kick those goals. I mean, he kicked one on the weekend, which was a reasonable set shot, but he seems to be offering not much, or there's a player probably waiting in the wings that could maybe offer a little bit more sort of dynamic nature to our side.
It'd be a small who'd come in for him, I'd imagine, whether that's Cockatoo or whether it's Scott Selwood. I think we've got enough height, and he's been in the system long enough. He's a ruckman. It's as simple as that. He's not a forward. That's why he's at Geelong, because he's a failed forward. So I think if he wants to make a career, it's going to be as a ruckman. And at the moment, I've got Smith in front of him. So it's pretty simple in my opinion, but we'll see how they go.
Nice, mate. Parsons, are you happy with this game?
Yeah, I mean, he's shown some fairly good signs. Like, he's a bit of a live wire. I mean, he's really looking pretty impressive up forward. The type of guy who could probably go missing quite easily. But, I'm pretty pleased with him in attack because alongside Parfitt and maybe Cockatoo and a couple others that are obviously injured, but, he's doing some nice things.
Very good, mate. You have given him a little bit of flack lately. He's saying doesn't do a great deal, but if you're kicking 2 or 3 goals as a small forward, applying pressure, obviously you want to be doing more than that if you can. But loving the way he goes about. 3 crucial ones against the Dockers as well. He's been really good lately for mine, but hopefully he continues up the good form, mate. I've got a lot to live up to.
I mean, his last 2 weeks have been good, but certainly prior to then he he probably could have easily been dropped, so it's good to see him bounce back.
He's been kicking up the backside, mate. So very good to see that. We got the Hawks next week, mate. Is that right?
Yeah, mate. Absolutely.
This is going to be exciting. It's going to be less than 86 points this time, guys. I could nearly guarantee that. Going to be, on for young and old. The Hawks, Hodges' 300th game is going to have a bit of extra spice to it, and I wonder if Parsons will have a bit of a chat with him at all, but it will be a mouth-watering clash. I'm not sure if it'll be at the level of what it's been of late, but the Hawks' form along with Sydney the last 2 months has been pretty good. It's been right up there. Obviously, they've had their inconsistencies, Sydney and Hawthorn, but the Hawks are getting back there, mate, as much as you don't like to admit it, and I'd like to try and be right, but their side isn't amazing, but they've structured up pretty well, and to draw against the Giants is a pretty good effort. We did it as well. Look, I'll go in reasonably confident, just based off how we play and simply how we match up against Hawthorn of late, and a lot has gone out of their side. But in saying that, can't underestimate what they've been able to do, and they could have easily finished a wooden spooner. So, look, they'll be challenging, and there'll be times where the game will be on the line. If I'm predicting anything, I'd say us by 4 to 5 goals, but yeah, not 100% confident. It'll be more so what Hawthorn brings, I guess, than what we do. But what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I think we match up pretty well with them over the journey, and they are quite inexperienced at the moment. They have surprised me, to be honest, of late, but Sydney and Hawthorn are slightly different kettles of fish, I feel. They're both sort of resurging former great teams, but Sydney still has the previous great cattle, where I think Hawthorn are some young guys who are really playing some unexpected and good footy, perhaps. Yeah, probably a bit of a Clarko masterstroke, and Hodgie in the back line got him structured up real well. Any win on any week's a good win. The same will go here. I go in pretty confident. I think we match up well against them. We're in reasonable form. Yeah, we're not going to belt them like the shell-shocked Hawthorn we did earlier in the season, but I certainly aren't as worried as I once was, because they used to be quite imposing. They don't really have that now. It's going to take one of those efforts like it was against Adelaide, where they're just sort of a plucky outfit and they're not going anywhere despite being the underdogs, and we're going to have some good footy. So it's going to be very interesting. You mentioned Hodgie's 300th, and added even more to that the fact that he announces his retirement. So it's going to be a massive build-up, and I can't wait to get in the car on Saturday and waltz up on CG. It's not always a given, especially on a Saturday afternoon, but this one has worked out nicely for me. So on a nice individual selfish note, I'm very keen for this game.
Mate, that excitement there just makes me 10 times more excited for the occasion. Just you, Jeffy boy, Jess in the car will just be a fantastic display there. I reckon just be really good to get along to that, and plenty of banter in the car, no doubt. Just that's what life's about, isn't it?
It is, mate. No, look forward to it.
Just those car trips to Melbourne. So, alrighty, that's the review from Shorty and myself, guys. Excuse it was a bit late. Yes, busy weekend, so that's how it goes. Hope you enjoyed the review and my lack of comprehensiveness on the review. Feel free to give the video a bit of a like and subscribe as well. Darijoe will have the highlights up. I'll check that link in the description below. Keep clicking back, guys, for more content. I'll catch you guys next time.